In the vast, silent expanse of space, the first transmission arrived without warning. Earth's Global Defense Command Center sat in a quiet hum of anticipation, screens flickering with incoming data that would change everything. Commander Jay Huang watched the holographic display, his dark eyes reflecting the blue-white light of the incoming alien communication. Around him, military personnel from different nations sat perfectly still, their breath almost synchronized in collective tension. The alien voice crackled through the communication systems, deep and resonant with an artificial timbre that suggested advanced technological processing. People of Earth, it began, the Galactic Concordance has observed your species for millennia. Your period of peaceful isolation is now terminated. Yumi Park, the lead strategic analyst, leaned closer to her monitoring station. Her fingers danced across multiple holographic interfaces, tracking the communication's origin, analyzing its quantum signatures, and running complex algorithmic predictions. Humanity will surrender unconditionally, the alien transmission continued. Your technological capabilities are insufficient. Resistance is mathematically improbable. A subtle smile began to form at the corner of Jay Huang's mouth. The room's atmosphere shifted from tension to something else, a mixture of anticipation and barely contained amusement. The alien communication continued its monotonous declaration of impending invasion. Detailed specifications of their fleet's capabilities scrolled across secondary screens, thousands of ships, advanced plasma weaponry, quantum navigation systems that could traverse galaxies in moments. Dae Kim, the diplomatic liaison, whispered something to a nearby communications officer. A soft chuckle escaped, quickly suppressed but definitely audible. Your planetary defenses will be neutralized within standard galactic intervention protocols, the alien voice droned. Prepare for immediate submission. Commander Huang pressed a small button on his command console. Instantly, multiple communication channels activated, not with defensive strategies or diplomatic responses, but with something entirely unexpected. On screens across the global defense network, a series of bizarre responses began to populate. Meme compilations, absurdist comedy sketches, and seemingly random cultural references started streaming back towards the alien transmission. Yumi Park's monitoring systems showed the alien communication protocols becoming increasingly confused. Their sophisticated translation matrices were struggling to comprehend the human response. The alien transmission momentarily stuttered, its perfect algorithmic tone breaking into what could only be described as digital confusion. The precise, mathematical language of invasion was being met with something completely unpredictable: human creativity. "We do not understand your response," the alien voice finally admitted, a hint of frustration emerging in its synthesized tone. Commander Huang leaned back in his chair, a full smile now visible. "Welcome to Earth," he said quietly, knowing the alien systems were still monitoring. Around the command center, military personnel from different continents exchanged knowing glances. They had prepared for this moment for generations, not through traditional military might, but through something far more complex and nuanced. The alien fleet hung in space, thousands of precision-engineered ships waiting for a standard, predictable human response. Instead, they received a barrage of cultural references, comedy sketches, and communication patterns that defied all known diplomatic protocols. Yumi Park's systems continued tracking the alien communication, noting how their sophisticated AI was becoming increasingly perplexed. Each human response was a puzzle, a nonlinear communication strategy that no galactic algorithm could effectively decode. As minutes turned into hours, the alien invasion fleet remained suspended in space, their invasion protocols grinding to a confused halt. Humanity had done something entirely unexpected. They had transformed an potential act of war into a bizarre, comedic interaction that no military strategist could have predicted. The 1,000-year peace wasn't just ending, it was being reimagined in real time, with humanity writing the new rules of galactic engagement. Commander Jay Huang looked around the room, meeting the eyes of his team. No words were needed. They all understood what was happening. The invasion wasn't a threat. It was an opportunity. And humans, as always, were ready to seize it in the most unexpected way possible. The history of humanity's unique position in the galaxy began long before the current invasion. It started with a simple, unexpected moment that would change everything. 70 years after first contact, when alien civilizations had first discovered Earth, something remarkable happened. While other species approached technological challenges with careful, calculated steps, humans did something different. They jumped. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a historian specializing in extraterrestrial cultural studies, often told the story of the Quantum Leap Project. In 2087, when most scientific communities believed incremental progress was the only safe path, a small team of young researchers decided to do the impossible. They didn't just improve existing quantum computing technology. They reimagined it completely. Where alien scientists saw complex mathematical barriers, humans saw puzzles waiting to be solved with creativity and wild imagination. The project's lead researcher, a brilliant young engineer named David Park, approached technology like a child approaches a new toy. He didn't just want to understand how something worked, he wanted to break it, rebuild it, and make it do things no one thought possible. When the Galactic Research Council first reviewed their work, the alien scientists were confused. The human approach didn't follow any standard scientific methodology. It was chaotic, unpredictable, and seemingly illogical. Yet, it worked. The quantum system they developed could adapt in milliseconds. It could learn, predict, and modify itself faster than any known technological system in the galaxy. Most importantly, it could think in ways that defied standard computational logic. Alien civilizations had spent thousands of years developing careful, precise technological systems. Humans created systems that could change their own programming on the fly, that could make creative leaps that seemed almost magical. This wasn't just technological advancement. It was a fundamental difference in thinking. When the first interstellar communication networks were established, humans didn't just connect. They transformed communication itself. They introduced humor, creativity, and unpredictability into systems that were previously cold and mathematical. Diplomatic meetings became something alien civilizations had never experienced. Where they expected formal protocols, humans brought storytelling. Where they anticipated rigid responses, humans introduced complex emotional nuance. The Galactic Concordance, a collection of advanced alien civilizations, watched humanity with a mixture of fascination and concern. Humans didn't just participate in galactic society, they constantly reshaped its rules. Military strategists from various alien civilizations studied human conflict resolution with growing bewilderment. Humans solved problems in ways that seemed to break every known strategic rule. They used humor as a weapon. They transformed confrontation into communication. During territorial disputes, while other civilizations prepared complex legal arguments, humans would often propose solutions so creative that they surprised everyone involved. They didn't just negotiate, they reimagined the entire concept of negotiation. The 1,000-year peace wasn't a result of careful diplomacy. It was a result of humanity's ability to constantly surprise everyone around them. They were the wild card in the galactic system, the species that could turn any situation on its head. Alien researchers discovered that human creativity wasn't just a cultural trait. It was deeply embedded in their biological and neurological structures. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. This wasn't just about technology or diplomacy. It was about a fundamentally different way of experiencing and interacting with the universe. As the current invasion approached, those who understood human history knew something the attacking aliens did not. This wasn't going to be a traditional conflict. This was going to be something entirely different. Humanity had spent 1,000 years preparing. Not through military might, but through an ability to transform any challenge into an opportunity for creativity, humor, and unexpected solution. The aliens thought they were declaring war. Humanity saw an invitation to play a game nobody else understood. And they were ready when the first alien ships entered Earth's orbital zone. Humanity's response was nothing short of bizarre. Instead of launching missiles or preparing defensive shields, Earth's communication teams began transmitting something entirely unexpected. Memes. Comedy sketches. Ridiculous dance videos. Absurd musical performances that made no tactical sense whatsoever. Commander Jay Huang watched the alien fleet's communication systems become progressively more confused. Their sophisticated translation matrices were designed to process military communications, diplomatic exchanges, and standard interstellar protocols. They were not prepared for human internet culture. One transmission featured a group of dancers performing an elaborate choreography that seemed to mock the alien invasion. Another showed a comedian doing a stand-up routine about extraterrestrial invasion, complete with ridiculous alien impressions. Technical teams embedded hidden data packets within these transmissions, complex quantum codes that the aliens couldn't detect. The alien fleet's central command, led by Supreme Commander Coral Vex, became increasingly frustrated. Their invasion protocols had no response mechanism for this level of apparent nonsense. "We are receiving multiple communication streams," reported an alien communication officer. "But they appear to be entertainment content?" Coral Vex's tentacle-like appendages twisted in confusion. Every military strategy they had developed assumed a rational, predictable enemy. Humans were anything but predictable. Earth's strategic team had prepared for this moment for generations. They understood that traditional warfare was no longer about weapons, but about information, perception, and psychological manipulation. Each comedy sketch contains subtle technological disruption signals. Each meme embedded complex quantum interference patterns. The humans were fighting a war that the aliens couldn't even understand they were fighting. Military communication channels buzzed with human creativity. One transmission showed a cat wearing an alien helmet, another featured a dance competition between cartoon characters representing different planetary species. To an outside observer, it might have seemed like complete chaos. But beneath the apparent randomness, a precise and complex strategy was unfolding. Alien navigation systems began experiencing unexpected glitches. Communication channels started receiving bizarre interference. Their most advanced technological systems were being compromised not by direct attacks, but by creative human information warfare. "This is not standard combat protocol," Coral Vex muttered, watching another transmission of what appeared to be a group of humans doing a synchronized dance routine while wearing alien-themed costumes. The human team knew exactly what they were doing. They were overwhelming the alien systems with information that their computational models could not process. Every transmission was a weapon, every joke a strategic maneuver. Yumi Park, the lead strategic analyst, monitored the alien fleet's responses. Their confusion was growing. Their precise, mathematical approach to invasion was being systematically dismantled by human unpredictability. Military historians would later describe this as the most unusual defensive strategy in galactic history. Humans weren't just resisting invasion, they were transforming the very concept of conflict. The alien fleet's communication systems began to glitch. Their precise technological networks started receiving transmissions that defied all standard processing protocols. A mix of internet humor, complex quantum signals, and pure creative chaos. Commander Huang allowed himself a small smile. They were winning a war before the aliens even realized a war had started. As alien ships hung motionless in Earth's orbit, confused by transmissions of dancing cats, comedic sketches, and seemingly nonsensical cultural content, humanity demonstrated something profound. In the face of a technologically superior enemy, creativity could be the most powerful weapon. The invasion was transforming into something no alien civilization had ever encountered. Not a battle, but a bizarre, hilarious performance that was systematically destroying their entire invasion strategy. And humanity was just getting started. As the alien fleet hung suspended in Earth's orbital zone, Commander J. Huang pressed a single red button hidden beneath a protective glass cover. The moment his finger touched the surface, something extraordinary began to happen. Thousands of quantum networks, secretly developed over generations, suddenly activated. These weren't ordinary computer systems. They were living, breathing technological organisms that could think, adapt, and transform faster than any known computational system in the galaxy. Yumi Park watched multiple holographic displays come alive. Complex algorithms began dancing across screens, moving in patterns that seemed more like living art than standard computer programming. Each system was connected, yet completely independent, a technological ecosystem that defied traditional understanding. The first alien ship experienced a strange malfunction. Its navigation system suddenly displayed a cartoon cat wearing a space helmet. The ship's primary weapons began playing random musical tunes instead of charging combat protocols. Confusion spread rapidly through the alien fleet. Alien technological systems were designed with perfect mathematical precision. Humanity's systems were designed with creativity, unpredictability, and a sense of humor that no computational model could predict. Quantum networks began spreading through the alien fleet like a strange, intelligent virus. But this wasn't destruction, it was transformation. Weapon systems started glitching in impossible ways. Combat ships began performing synchronized dance movements. Communication channels filled with bizarre internet memes and comedy sketches. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, watching from the ground control center, understood what was happening. Humans hadn't just created a defensive system. They had created a living, breathing technological organism that could think and play in ways no alien civilization could comprehend. Each alien ship became a canvas of technological creativity. Weapon systems turned into musical instruments. Navigation computers started generating random art. Communication channels broadcast comedy shows and bizarre dance performances. The alien fleet's supreme commander, Coral Vex, watched in growing horror. Their most advanced technological systems were being systematically transformed by something they couldn't understand or fight against. Humanity's quantum networks weren't just disrupting alien technology. They were reimagining what technology could be. Where alien systems saw limitations, these networks saw opportunities for creativity and unexpected solutions. Some ships began rotating in perfect geometric patterns that seemed more like a dance performance than a military maneuver. Others started broadcasting radio signals that mixed complex mathematical equations with pop music lyrics. Yumi Park's monitoring systems showed something remarkable. The quantum networks were learning and adapting in real time. They weren't just responding to the alien technology, they were playing with it, transforming it, turning a potential war into an unexpected artistic performance. The alien fleet's computational systems tried to analyze and counter these strange intrusions. But every time they developed a solution, the human networks would change again. It was like trying to catch water with a net, impossible and constantly shifting. Commander Huang watched the displays with a calm smile. This wasn't just a defensive strategy. This was humanity demonstrating its most powerful capability, the ability to transform any challenge into an opportunity for creativity and unexpected solution. Alien ships started experiencing increasingly strange malfunctions. Weapon systems would suddenly project cartoon characters. Navigation computers would generate abstract art. Communication channels would burst into spontaneous musical performances. The invasion was transforming into something no military strategy could have predicted. It wasn't a battle. It was a bizarre, hilarious performance that was systematically dismantling the entire alien invasion strategy. As hours passed, the alien fleet found itself completely neutralized, not by traditional weapons, but by humanity's most powerful resource, its boundless creativity and ability to see beyond standard limitations. Coral Vex's final transmission was a mixture of confusion, frustration, and reluctant respect. The invasion was over before it had truly begun. Humanity had done it again, turning a potential conflict into an unexpected, creative solution that no one could have predicted. And they were just getting started. The final moments of the alien invasion unfolded like a strange, unexpected dance of technological confusion and human creativity. Coral Vex, supreme commander of the alien fleet, watched in disbelief as his entire invasion force transformed into something beyond comprehension. What had begun as a calculated military operation had become a bizarre performance that defied every known rule of galactic conflict. Earth's communication channels erupted with a mix of celebration and absolute absurdity. Entire planetary networks began broadcasting a simultaneous global party, not as a victory celebration, but as a continuous mockery of the failed invasion attempt. Commander Jay Huang stood in the central command center, a subtle smile playing across his face. Around him, military personnel from different nations exchanged knowing glances. They had prepared for this moment for generations, not through traditional military might, but through something far more complex and nuanced. The alien fleet's most advanced technological systems had been completely neutralized. Not by weapons, but by pure human creativity. Weapon platforms were now generating complex art installations. Navigation computers played elaborate musical compositions. Communication channels broadcast comedy sketches that seemed to mock the very concept of invasion. Yumi Park monitored the final stages of the technological transformation. The quantum networks humanity had developed were doing something extraordinary. They weren't just defending. They were communicating, playing, transforming the entire concept of conflict. One by one, alien ships began to retreat. Their sophisticated invasion protocols completely overwhelmed by something they could not understand or combat. It wasn't a defeat in the traditional sense. It was a complete reimagining of what conflict could mean. The Galactic Concordance communication channels buzzed with confusion. Other alien civilizations watched the unprecedented event with a mixture of shock and reluctant admiration. Humanity had done something no species had ever achieved. They had turned a potential war into a bizarre, creative performance. Dae Kim, the diplomatic liaison, began preparing the first official response. But it wasn't a traditional diplomatic communication. It was a carefully crafted message that was part comedy, part serious communication, and entirely unpredictable. "We appreciate your interest in visiting," the message began, "but perhaps next time you could call ahead?" The alien fleet's final transmissions were a mixture of technological gibberish, confused mathematical calculations, and what could only be described as digital frustration. They had encountered an enemy that didn't fight, it played. As the last alien ships disappeared from Earth's orbital zone, something remarkable happened. The entire planet seemed to exhale a collective laugh. This wasn't a victory of military might. This was a victory of human creativity, unpredictability, and an ability to transform any challenge into an opportunity. Historians would later struggle to categorize what had just happened. Was it a war? A performance? A technological demonstration? It was something entirely new, a uniquely human solution to a galactic challenge. Commander Huon looked at the final communication displays. The quantum networks were already beginning to archive the entire encounter, not as a military record, but as a complex, artistic representation of human capability. The 1,000-year peace hadn't been broken. It had been reimagined. Alien civilizations would spend generations trying to understand what had happened. Humanity had demonstrated something profound, that creativity, humor, and the ability to see beyond standard limitations was the most powerful weapon in the universe. As global communication networks continued to celebrate, the message was clear. Humanity wasn't just defending itself. It was rewriting the rules of galactic interaction. The invasion was over. But the real story was just beginning. Korolvek's final transmission remained in Earth's archives, a testament to the day when an entire alien invasion was transformed into the most elaborate, unexpected performance in galactic history. Humanity had won. But more importantly, they had done so in a way that was entirely, wonderfully, uniquely human.